I shouldn't.
Do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Hopefully you're doing fantastic today, and welcome back to Building the Lost River. It's episode 3, and if you haven't checked out the last 2 episodes, I highly recommend you go check them out. Otherwise, none of this will make any sense. But if you have watched the 2 previous episodes, you may notice that we are in a completely different world. And that is because I want to copy what we have already built and paste it into this world. So yeah, because what I want to do is, once I'm done, I want to put this world up for download, and I didn't want to put everything else that was in my world in that world download, so I just made a super flat world here, nothing in it, and I wanted to paste what we have built into this world. So if we go to / schematic load, and I do lost, that should be the command, yes, so if I do / paste, oh boy, oh god, my computer's frozen. Okay, oh, okay, there we go, there is the entire build. You can see that is a 1-to-1 replica of what we have done. Essentially, this is just the exact same thing copied from that world into this world. As you can see, there's still some of the sandstone barriers. Now, today in this episode, we've got quite a bit to do, and I'm honestly thinking to do a whole lot more in this episode than we've done in any other episode. Off camera, I've been thinking about how I can improve this thing. I've been reading your guys' comments, and something I want to do is, I don't want to restart, but I have a feeling what we're going to be doing today is almost undoing everything that we have done in the past 2 episodes, which has me a tad bit worried. The first thing I want to fix is the Ghost Leviathan. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this thing looks amazing. You guys think it looks amazing as well, although most of the comments say it's amazing. So hopefully you think the Ghost Leviathan looks amazing, but off camera, I have decided that I want to remodel it. So I've changed it. So if I go back to / schematic load and I type in ghost, there we go. We're going to go / paste. And we are going to see the brand new Ghost Leviathan that I have made. Now, it doesn't have the little lights coming off it, just because I wanted to build the base model of the Ghost Leviathan. And I think it looks better. Here it looks like it's actually living. It's got a lot more movement and looks a whole lot more alive. So we're going to have to get rid of it. This has been the first thing that we worked on, but unfortunately, well, some things have to change. All good things end, so we're going to start off by completely getting rid of this Ghost Leviathan. Yeah, I hope I can do this well. So now that we have the Ghost Leviathan replaced, I think this already looks a whole lot better and a whole lot more alive. Instead of the Ghost Leviathan just swimming alongside the Cyclops, it actually makes it look like it's about to attack it, which, let's be honest, if you see a Ghost Leviathan, or if a Ghost Leviathan sees you, it's most likely about to attack you. So I think this looks a whole lot more realistic in the game. But what I want to work on now is, I want to finish the walls. I want to give myself a layout of what we're going to be working with, because right now we've got these 2 messy looking walls, and I really don't like the way this turned out. This looks a whole lot better than this. This just looks messy. So what I want to do is completely get rid of this wall. We're going to tear it down, and we're going to replace it by hand, because the problem was I was just testing out World Edit to see how I could make this work, and it doesn't look good at all. So we're going to copy this entire wall right here, and we're going to replace it by hand. So now that we've got this wall completely gone, what I want to work on now is actually fixing up this other wall, because I saw this comment saying that it makes sense that the walls be all black because the Lost River is kind of in a volcanic area. And after looking at some pictures, I kind of agree. I think these coral blocks and these andesite blocks, wherever they are there, they definitely make this look a whole lot brighter than it should, and it should look a whole lot darker. So I think what I'm going to do is replace them, and I don't know if I can do that by hand or not, but I think without them it will look a whole lot better. And I must say, removing all of that definitely makes this look a whole lot better. I prefer this. I'm really glad I saw that comment. Whoever wrote that down, thank you. Of course, there's still going to be a little bit of remains of the andesite here around. I don't think it would be a big deal. You can't really see it. I mean, if it's obvious, like that one right there, that one I saw in the corner of my eye, there may be a few more hidden around, but I'm not going to focus on those right now. The ones that you could see are gone, and I think it looks a whole lot better. So what we're going to do is, instead of copying this and pasting it over here, we're actually going to manually go and fill in an entire wall. So hopefully by the end of this episode we will have an entire surrounding cave network that we're going to be working in. So now that we've got that out the way, what I want to do is kind of finish the floor, because I made this tiny little island here and kind of just left it like that. There is a ton more space that we have to work with, and this is a bit lonely. And also we need to remove this because it's got all of the light blocks that we don't want. We want all of these dark blocks here because this looks way too bright. So what we're going to have to do is completely remove this and replace it with some darker blocks. So as I usually do with my natural rock formations, I just went with it, no pattern at all, just right clicking everywhere until I find a pattern that I like. And this is going to be kind of the same thing as the island we just got rid of. We're going to have one here and basically a massive one that covers this giant middle area here, because right now this place does look very, very bare and there's nothing to it. So what I want to do is just map out the area of where we're going to have this. So for now, I'm going to map that out there so we know we're going to build one there. And what I want to do is kind of just go with it. You can see I'm not really paying attention to where I'm placing blocks. Of course, sometimes we're going to get things like that. And where I don't like a pattern, I'm usually just going to remove some of those blocks. Make sure it's not too much player made. I mean, sometimes when there's lots of blocks in a row, you can tell that a player made it. But sometimes if you just make it look a bit more natural, kind of like this, you can see it's slowly starting to go down. That way it looks a bit more natural. And there we have it. We now have the outline of where we're going to have the natural rock formations. We got rid of the walls as well. I thought I might as well get rid of those. I probably should have got rid of them a whole lot sooner. So now that we have a big, wide open area and no limitations on where we want to build this. But I went ahead and did all of the outlines. I think I'm going to keep it like this. I don't want to have it too much, but I don't want to have it too little either. So that way we still have the streams of acid going through this place. And what I want to do now is, well, I want to make this that. I don't want to keep it stone, so I want to replace this quickly. So I'm going to have to make a pattern, if I remember how to do that. I believe we just go in a certain pattern like this. Just make a, like, no, I think that works, honestly. And there we go. That works. Now, you can see already we're kind of having the same problem as we did before we replaced the wall. Now, it's not as common as it was. First of all, let's get the obvious out of the way. It looks a whole lot better. I mean, this definitely looks a whole lot better. But you can see we're getting these stripes again. Now, they're not as common as they were before. For some reason, it's not nearly as common here, but now that I'm looking at it, there's actually a lot less black stone here than there is here. There appears to be more basalt than blackstone, and I'm not sure. I think that's going to be another comment. I think that's going to be another thing that I leave to you guys down in the comments. Do you prefer having more basalt or more blackstone? I think I'm just going to leave this here so you guys can debate down in the comments. But now that we've got that out the way, what I want to do is build the waterfall. So we're kind of going to go with the same way we did at the start of this series, and it's not going to be layered. Unfortunately, I don't think I can really do that without it looking weird. So I think we're just going to try and make this look as natural as possible, because I am not good at building natural liquids like waters and fluids and things like that, especially with glass. This is my first time working with it, and you could say that the floor of this is technically natural liquid. It's not really the same as building a waterfall, so I need to somehow make this look like it's not made by a player. So ideally not doing this, not doing a 90-degree turn like that. 3, 2, 1. Yep, again, I saw that coming. We have these stripes again, but you can get the general idea of what I've decided to go with. So I did go with this layered glass, and I mean, the fact that you can see through it, I don't really like. I mean, you can't really see through the acid. I'm only making it like this to give it that misty look. So I'm thinking what I might actually do is take some lime concrete, maybe some slime blocks. That could be an idea. You know, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. Now, of course, I would have to fill in this whole area. I wouldn't be allowed to leave stuff like this, which is what makes this difficult. But slime blocks doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. Now, from a distance, it definitely looks better because you don't see the squares inside of the squares. But I don't know. I'm a bit stuck with this one. This might be something else that I go down into the comments to check out. If you guys are probably definitely better than me. There's a lot more of you than there are of me, and I bet there's a whole lot more experienced builders watching this video than I am. So yeah, give me tips down in the comments below on how to build this waterfall, because I do want to do this. This is a really important part of the project, and I really want to work with this. So if you guys have any ideas or any links to a tutorial, please leave them down in the comments below, because I'm really stuck on this. And now that it's growing on me, the slime blocks don't look good at all. Okay, so moving away from the waterfall, we're going to go back onto these islands here. So what I want to do is at least get this done this episode, so that way I can at least say that I've got something done. So what I want to do is I'm going to replace all of this with stone, and then do the same as I've done this whole episode, is replace all the stone with the pattern that we've worked out. So I may change it. I may change the pattern of the, whatever we call it, the blackstone and basalt, because I really don't like how it's kind of got a bit of a pattern to it. You can see it's a little bit of a checkerboard, if you see what I mean. Now I guess it does explain it, because the original template I've worked with is a checkerboard. So maybe if I make this a bit bigger and a bit more not as much of a pattern as it is, then maybe this could look a whole lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace all of this with stone, and then I'm going to make a new pattern and see how well this is going to look. goodness, this is a whole lot better to look at. I mean, this place is a whole lot more interesting now that we don't just have a plain green ocean. This place actually looks interesting, and it's got some rock formations. I really like the way this came out. Oh, hello, I didn't mean to bump into you. So now that we've got all that out the way, I think I'm honestly happy with the amount of islands we have. I keep on calling them islands, I don't really know what else to call them. It's really just the rock floor. Next, what I'm going to work on, which I've kind of started over here, is to kind of get an overlap over this, because right now it just looks like it goes from straight from the green right to the rock wall. So I don't really like that. So what I'm going to do is kind of mix up a little bit. So make a little bit of a beach, if you see what I mean. Here we don't have to do anything because that's really all it is. But on the rock walls, we definitely need to add something because it looks weird just going from straight from the green all the way to the rock wall. So we're going to have to do something about that. So this is really what I was going with. I didn't want to make it too wide because then there would be no river, but I didn't want it to be too small either, so that way it just goes from the floor all the way to the rock wall. So I think something like this going around is going to look really nice. Now we're coming to this part here, and it's reminding me of the waterfall. And now that I'm looking at it, this rock face looks a bit weird, how it's curving in and then it just goes back out again. I don't really like that, so I'm thinking we might have to go back to some stone placing and just make this place look a bit more natural, kind of making that shape. So this entire area here, this column, is going to get kind of removed or pushed out a bit more because it does look really weird how it just comes in and then all of a sudden bam. So yeah, I might have to do the same here as well. It's not too bad here, but then you get to this area and it doesn't look so good. So I think that's what I'm going to do for now. And then after I'm done with that, I may move on to the waterfall because I have some new ideas that I want to do with that. And there we go, I think that looks a whole lot better. So it's not just having a little curve inside, it actually looks like it continues on with the wall formation. So I think this looks a whole lot better, and I'm really glad the way this turned out. Of course, we're still getting these stripes. I'm going to have to find a way to fix that in between episodes, so that way when I completely finish this, it won't look too bad, because this is starting to get a little bit annoying. I'm gonna be honest with you. These stripes are getting a bit annoying, but now that what I want to work on is the waterfall, and I'm thinking that if I put some lime concrete behind it, it may make it look better. Yeah, maybe that could be something that we do. I'm not too sure. I'm still testing this out. Let's take the other coordinate there, like that. It's not too bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I think this is the best design I've come up with so far, and maybe what I could do, if we have to, is put lime concrete underneath all of this. Maybe. That could be a plan, but later on what we still have to work on is making this actually look like a waterfall that's coming down and not just some rectangle coming down, because I've tried a lot of different methods of how to do this and I just don't seem to be able to get the hang of it. So you guys are definitely still going to have to help me down in the comments below, because I am really stuck on options here. Now the last thing I want to get done this episode is do some more cliff building, because right here we just have nothing. There's absolutely nothing here, just a giant gap from when we had this in the previous world. So what I want to do is, you can see I've already started an outline, is connect this island here to the wall. So this will eventually get built up to be the wall. So I think that's the last thing I'm going to do for this episode. How much stone have we placed actually? We've placed 9,455. So we're going to break the 10,000 barrier this episode, and we're going to finish building this entire cliff face. Let's get into it. And there we have it. This wall is now completely done, and I must say we did get rather close to the Ghost Leviathan. You can see here only maybe 2 blocks of space in between the two, but we can move that later. So I think I'm going to leave it for this episode. We've done quite a lot. We finished, we basically tore down this entire wall, built it from the ground up, built all of the islands, fixed this wall, and remade the Ghost Leviathan. We didn't really do that in this episode, but I did that off camera. I think I am satisfied with what I have done for today's episode. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. I really enjoy making these building videos, so I really hope you guys do too. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you're new to the channel, why not consider subscribing? If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell, make sure it's ring, so you're notified every time I upload and you never miss a video. Next episode, what I'll probably do is make a entrance to this place, because we're kind of lacking an entrance. So I think we're going to build this a bit more this way and add a giant tunnel there, and then we can add in some of the more extra detail that is going to make this place complete. Maybe add the ceiling, because that's kind of important. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.